Okay, so we'll call this a walking split stance RDL, and I'm going to make a little point here to turn the sound up in case you're watching this and don't expect it to be there to be any good handwriting there, any sound. Okay, so you'll see that I take a small step forward, square off, and then reach down for the inside of the front leg. Small step, square the hips, reach for the inside of the front leg. Now you may also see my back rounded here, and that's totally fine. I mean, it's perfectly safe. This is a unloaded movement. It's just body weight, just kind of warming up. Now, as I would do more reps personally, my hamstrings and hips would loosen up, and I'd, naturally just my back would be flatter. But I'm not really trying to flatten my back. I'm just bending forward naturally. So that's fine. You can do that as well. If you want to strive for a flatter back and really get into those hamstrings and hips, that's fine too. A couple more steps here. A soft bend in the knees. And now I'm going to transition to facing the camera, and I've got some important points here to note as well. So you'll see me making reference to my hip bones, just those pointy points in the front of the hips. Imagine you have headlights on those hip bones. As you take a step forward, you want those headlights to face forward. You see I'm kind of shifting forward there, squaring the hips off. And if anything, this hip here should almost be angled slightly towards the opposite side as I reach for the inside of that front foot. Take a step, again, squaring the hips off, and this leg stays straight. The kneecap here continues to point forward. And now I'm going to do a repetition where I let that front leg kind of fall out to the side, where now that kneecap is facing over here. What we want to do is square that up so if that kneecap faces forward, and then you're bringing that opposite hip towards that kneecap. And what that does is it just really closes off. It really closes off this hip here, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get into that lead hip. We're trying to get internal rotation of that lead hip by rotating the pelvis over the top of it. And your other cue is you want the inside of your front foot to be staying flat against the ground. So imagine you had a piece of paper right under that big toe and the inside of that front leg. As you reach forward, you want that piece of paper to stay planted between your foot and the ground. So you wouldn't want somebody to be able to pull a piece of paper out from the inside of your foot. And again, I show a rep here where I let that front leg fall out to the side. You want to keep that front knee pointing straight ahead. Bring that opposite hip across and reach for the inside of that big toe. Inside of the big toe is planted. And the reason, not a stickler on many exercises like this, but we're just trying to really get into that hip and close that hip down. And I'm making reference here where you want to feel it is the inside of that front foot.